Aloha. Today I wanted to make a quick video in relation to something that hit me yesterday that relates to positive cognitive dissonance and also the overall control grid over time. So when I mentioned positive cognitive dissonance in the last video, I'll go into more of it in a second if you haven't watched that video. I was really focusing on the New Age perspective and how the New Age perspective is heavily polarized in the positive love and light perspective of everything is okay, everything is just this, and how that is basically just another defense mechanism for one. It's also another form of selling in a new agenda, creating the foundation for a new agenda. It's also another version of keeping people out of balance. Because as long as you keep people out of balance, then you can provide the filler for that balance. So the mainstream media is a form of keeping people out of balance. War and destruction, fear, limitation, separation, destroying of culture, insecurity, codependency. These are all forms of keeping people out of balance so that you may provide that balance. One thing that I didn't realize, and up until now to the umpteenth degree, is the original positive cognitive dissonance, which in my opinion is the orchestrated Christianity and the biblical perspectives that are designed to focus your energy only in one style of connection to spirit. This is the same thing that happens in the university system, where their style of connection to the spirit, the Most High Spirit, and any kind of spirit, is to have zero connection to spirit, have none, and only worship science. So the positive cognitive dissonance of today, on one form, could be the scientism community and how they say, well, if it's real, then it can be explained by science. So they give you the definition of what is real, and they give you the definition of a scientific observation, when we all know that the science of today is a half-assed at best version of true science, when it doesn't include the balances of understanding spirit, and it's based upon the control grid of the globe model, these artificial laws and theories of gravity and relativity and the Big Bang and monkey evolution and so on and so forth. It's meant to control you. The mainstream version of positive cognitive dissonance are these holidays. Thanksgiving is a form of positive cognitive dissonance. You can take it even further to the extreme of what I realized yesterday is heavily linked in with the idea of white guilt, along with the white supremacy program. People cannot look at what has happened, cannot really look into the storylines of how destructive this program that we are so codependent on. We can't look into that program, because that will mean that you have to look into yourself and everything that you are. People are Thanksgiving. Families are Christmas. People are Independence Day. People are like the American dream. All of this shit is ingrained into what people think they are. And the disconnect comes when people can't look, like it's like your hand, like your eyes can't see themselves, like you can't clap one hand, like you can't, like all this stuff, like you can't look at yourself if what you're seeing as yourself is something that you don't want to look at. So you have to look at something that either distracts you, or look at something, or look at whatever you're looking at from a different perspective. So this is what Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is a form of positive cognitive dissonance, which was, it was ingrained. It's based on a massacre. Thanksgiving was named and based on a massacre. It is a bank holiday and celebrated today. Why? To maintain positive cognitive dissonance. And the way a lot of the time to the extreme, people who have white guilt, for one example, not all the examples, for one example, people who have white guilt and don't want to look into their own history, say, well, today is about thanks and giving, and we're just gonna do thanks. That is a form, that is a that's a mental condition, to not be able to look at the truth and to be looking at something completely reversed. And when it's an understanding of the actual reality. I'm not even talking about globe model stuff, like the stuff that I can't prove, like the flat earth and all that. I can't actually prove that. I'm not saying that that's the actual reality. In fact, I come from it more of a an energetic perspective. So, and that's going into the spirit, which can't be like scientifically proven and all that stuff and so on and so forth. But shit like Thanksgiving, these massacres are actually a proven fact that are now celebrated and ritualistically repeated every year to to keep people in a particular vibration, in a particular thought pattern, to keep people believing that the system is for you. So if the banks give you a holiday, they give you time off, your slave masters give you time off on a particular day, you're not going to question why you get that day off. You're not going to question what that represents. You're just going to fucking take the day off and shut up and be okay with it. That's how this mind control program works. That's how you keep slaves loving this system and loving cognitive dissonance, and keep people from realizing what's happening up in North Dakota at Standing Rock, what's happening at all of the desecrated Native American burial sites and all of the colonized land across the earth plane. It's because you celebrate Thanksgiving, you celebrate Independence Day, you celebrate Christmas and all these bank holidays that are connected to the same military industrial complex and prison industrial complex that will send your babies off to war at the blink of an eye without thinking twice. Excuse me. And you will have no no connection. Like you'll just, so you see where I'm coming from. The positive cognitive dissonance is not just limited to the New Age movement. It's in everything, and it's about this distraction from the truth. The globe model is a distraction from the truth. Technology, the transhumanism agenda, that's a distraction from nature. The university system is a distraction from humanity. If you worship science and the Big Bang, explosions and destruction as your origin, then you are inherently separating yourself from that which is natural. If you only worship the mainstream religious programs, then you are inherently, it's built within the design to shit on everything that is indigenous and ancient. So all of the cultures in Egypt and the Inca and the Mayan cultures and everything that connects them and that relates to this reality that predates the mainstream religions is just primitive and savage, just like the native peoples and the indigenous peoples were labeled by the colonial system. The Roman Empire that exists today would not be the Roman Empire if it didn't have the Bible, if it didn't have Christianity and Catholicism to sell to people, to not only make them believe in their version of reality, but to also separate them from their connections and understandings of reality. It works both ways. It installs a program and removes connections that were existing before that. So this is what I'm calling the mainstream media of spirit, which is today's versions of religion, mainly the Bible and Christianity. This TV version of Christianity and the Bible, the shit that has to be sold to you like a prescription drug that is for some made up shit that excuse me, that you see what I'm saying. This is the correlations between the mainstream media and the mainstream media of spirit, like the Bible and mainstream Christianity, are uncanny, really. Like, you can't separate the two. The mainstream media is designed to make everything really simple, really basic, really destructive, focus your energy, make you not think about other things and make you really think about other things, make you think a certain way, make you act a certain way, make you treat other people a certain way. This is everything that the Bible does. Now, I'm not saying that the Bible doesn't have positive, good things in it and all that other stuff. Of course, like this is how this alchemy works. It has to have some kind of it has to have the balances of positive and negative to keep you in the limbo world, so it can provide your foundation. So as long as you're kept in waiting for a savior, as long as you're kept in fear from that savior, as long as you're kept in that God-fearing mentality, then you will never tap into your natural vibrations. You'll never tap into your maximum potential, because your maximum potential is held in something that is outside of you. Even though everything in that Bible tells you that you are a reflection of that same spirit that they're talking about. But since that reality is so ingrained into the generations, and that alchemy is so thick, it overtakes anything that you can even think about, or you can even relate to. So the ancient people can write hieroglyphics on the wall thousands and thousands of years ago, from thousands of miles away from other people who wrote those same symbols on the wall in stone, building pyramids, having connections with nature, having connections with spirit, the same way. But since the system has designed itself like this cognitive dissonance, it makes you uncomfortable. It works against the belief system that was initially installed. So in order to protect those beliefs, they get rationalized, ignored, or plain out deny anything that goes against it. And how is that any different from the mainstream media? When you talk about Beyonce, when you talk about Barack Obama, it's the same shit. People will defend Beyonce to the death. People will defend Barack Obama forever. They will defend Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga and all these other people who don't give one shit about you, one shit about nature. They will defend them to the umpteenth degree. And as long as you have imbalance and distraction, like today's Black Friday, you have the distraction and the positive cognitive dissonance from the massacres and the genocides and the true nature of Thanksgiving, the actual definition of Thanksgiving yesterday, rationalized, denied, and celebrated by saying this is about thanks and giving, not realizing that that's a ritual, and then completely distracted from the next day. Well, you're distracted on the same day by all the food and all the politics that you have to talk about with your family and all that other bullshit that's part of your regular everyday life, to distract you from the ritual that is not giving a shit about the indigenous people. And then you have the gladiator arena, which is Rome, which is the football games that everybody puts on. So you do the blood sacrifice of the turkey, the sacred bird, the peace bird. You sacrifice peace in the name of war, death, and destruction, and ignorance, and cognitive dissonance. You distract yourself with all this egoic political bullshit talk, and you distract yourself even more. Your only saving grace is to watch the football game. Everybody circles around the football game and watches the gladiator arena and all of those commercials to distract you. It's like 10 layers of distraction. It goes on and on and on, distracting you from reality, distracting you from the ritual itself. And then to make it even worse, you have the Black Friday distraction, which is just really a program to set up the same thing that the local news does. Give people an excuse to show their ass to the majority of people who won't engage in that reality, and they can pride themselves in not being a part of that group. So you're constantly judging others. I'm not them. At least we're not them. Ha 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 ha. That energy, that vibration, is another layer of distraction that keeps you from realizing the ritual of Thanksgiving and all that other stuff. But you won't look at that shit because you're too busy laughing and pointing the finger at people who are killing other people for a fucking flat screen TV at Walmart. Like, oh, well, at least we're not that bad. That's the actual design of this system. Constantly pass the buck, pass the responsibility down to the next individual. Pass the focus down to the next layer of consciousness. So you don't have to look at your own reality. You don't have to look at your own consciousness. You don't have to look at the entire storyline. You just say, oh, well, this is the way things are. This is what's happening. There's nothing I can do about it because the government of today, the university system of today, the politics of today is the best thing in the university. And then we just gotta have to keep going along with it. I don't approve of the bombings and the war that they do every single day. I don't approve of all this stuff, so I'm okay. I'm a churchgoer. I'm a God-fearing individual. I'm going to heaven. And those are the bad guys. I'm not like those people. The fuck you are. You're worshiping the same program. And this mainstream religion is no different than the energy of the mainstream media. It keeps people disconnected from that which is real and simultaneously beating down that which is natural. So it's normal to be Christian. It's normal to be Catholic. It's normal to be Muslim. It's normal to be all this stuff. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying that it's normal. Same thing same thing in relation to the gay agenda. It's normal for some people to be gay. It's normal for people to be joining the military. It's normal to have all these gangsters everywhere. It's normal to have all this stuff. That's normal in the way this society is designed. That doesn't mean that it's natural. In the essence, the origin of nature. Excuse me. The banking system is normal. That don't make it natural. Not that long ago, slavery and segregation was normal. Having slaves, calling people certain names, discriminating. That shit was normal. They don't make it natural. And a lot of these programs that exist today, a lot of the so-called powers that be today, the mainstream agenda itself is a Christian reality. It's based upon Christianity. And it's not, I don't want to focus too much on the system itself because it's touch and go, because people are still having a connection with spirit. You're still getting stories here and there and understandings from the Bible. But I'm not coming at it from that perspective. I'm relating it right now to, if there's positive sides, then you're going to have to understand this, the negative sides. Just like when I referenced the ancient people, I'm not saying that they were, excuse me, that they were all great and all positive. No. I understand the balances. They were fucked up too. They did some jacked up shit. At the same time, they had some real beautiful connections with nature and spirit that is being completely disregarded in order to demonize them and those systems and those connections in order to build up the mainstream system, which is largely the Bible today. Your bank holiday, Christian, so-called Christianity, Christmas, Easter, even Thanksgiving. The Jesuits came over here selling Bibles to people. They were still selling Bibles on the TV in the 80s, in the 90s. Send these Bibles down to South America. Help these people find some Jesus. My point being is that we think that this stuff is good, like Thanksgiving. You think it's good. You think it's great because you're with your family, like the church. You go to church. That's communion. You think it's great because you're eating food and talking and celebrating thanks and giving. That's like prayer and blessings in the church. But what you're not realizing is the genocide, the massacre, the blood and the bones that are underneath the foundation of that system. All the war, the death and destruction that has been carried out in the name of the Bible and Christianity. All the stuff that has been that exists, all the rituals that exist, like I was saying in the last video and partly of this video. The turkey, the football game, the talks, the getting together every year, the pardoning of the turkey by the government, the president. All of this is a ritual. The Super Bowl halftime show, these are rituals. So all of these rituals that exist openly on Thanksgiving and on your mainstream media television, all of these are rituals that we don't see as rituals. They exist though. And you can easily see, or at least crack the door into seeing how that is an alchemical ritual. If those are actual rituals that are not for your benefit and they are mainstream, Christmas lights everywhere, Thanksgiving shit everywhere, people out there right now stepping on other people for Black Friday. These are rituals. Worshipping money, worshipping this program. And the so-called powers that be are just laughing because these rituals are being carried out by the people who are of a divine essence but have been manipulated by the magic that has been installed upon generation upon generation upon generation and has 0 degrees of separation from the mainstream religious program. In fact, you can't separate the Vatican from Rome. You can't separate the Vatican from the so-called powers that be. You can't separate any of these systems. Not saying, like I said, there's positives and negatives. People get a lot of positive shit from the Bible. What I'm saying is that the negative shit from that essence, from that control grid, is in so-called power today and is responsible for the death and destruction, the looking the other way of the death and destruction of today. And because the president says, God bless America, that's a supposed Christian man. This is why they have all these evangelicals and all this other shit when in the campaign time frame of the presidents. They want to know. This is why a spiritual person won't be accepted as president. You got to be a Christian. Because they want to know your relationship to what is so-called normal as far as religion goes. Because they need to know that when you say God bless America, you're talking about a Christian God. And when you say God bless America, you are actually saying, fuck everybody else. I'm going to send these bombs over to everybody else in the name of God. Who's God? The biblical God. That Bible and Christianity comes straight from Rome, the Vatican, and the so-called powers that be of today. This is the mainstream media of spirit. And it makes you believe in it. And like I said, just like ancient cultures, they weren't all perfect. But neither was the fuck this Bible and Christianity of today. And the ancient cultures are the ones that have been suffering in relation to the so-called powers that be are alive and well and thriving today. The system of destruction of today is backed by the God of the Bible and the lack of God from the university system. Those are the two superpowers that are psychologically enslaving the masses. And there are rituals in the atheism program through the university system, and there are rituals being carried out from the Vatican, Christian, biblical perspectives in the political game and everything else. So they got you by both balls. Whether you believe in God or a Most High Spirit or you don't. Either way, you fall into the mainstream agenda that is based upon war, death, and destruction. And if we don't understand that that exists today, and why that exists today, and what else existed and still exists as the true balances, natural understanding, understanding, and overstanding of the balances of this reality. Firstly, by understanding our basic human nature, the fact that we don't live on a damn globe and fall from all these damn laws and theories from the university system. These are all negative programs that exist to keep us. It's an idol worship. Just like this right now. The university system is an idol. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the Big Bang, going to the moon, satellites, all this bullshit. CGI, that's the idol of today. CGI, computers, transhumanism. The new age. It's about dumbing down. Keeping you dumb. Making everything about good and evil, light and dark, good guy, bad guy, cowboys, Indians, new, old, so that you will worship that which is new, you will cheer for that which is the good guy, you will follow the only thing that is light, and you will have only perspectives from good, on and off, electric and magnetic, the patriarchal and matriarchal design, and never realize the balances of nature. Not saying to worship any of this other stuff. I'm saying to understand it. To understand it is to have the deepest connection. To just demonize the reality, to demonize everything in the name of one perspective, is to have not only a separation, but to create a mind control program. On top of a mind control program. So the same way that a family goes to church and they get their information from the pastor on Sunday, but you go home and a child asks his mother or his father some interpretations of the Bible and all that other stuff, they got to give them some answers. And those answers might not be the same as what the pastor will give them. But it'll be a reflection of the same mind control program. For example, Like for some people who are heavily into the Bible, they take that as an offense. I'm saying I can be coming from the perspective right now of like a white supremacist who's using the Bible to defend their supremacy, which is heavily engaged in the program of today. So now that same story for people who are taking offense to that, as me calling it a mind control program, they'll see it now as a mind control program. As I say, a white supremacist family goes to church on Sunday, hears a story from the pastor. The child hears that story, goes home. For the next 6 days of the week until their Sunday, they're asking their family, their mother and their father, to interpret the Bible. They interpret that Bible from a white supremacist perspective to that child, to that next generation. That child believes it. They understand it. They set it up in their mind so they can tell their children, their next generations. That's a mind control program. That mind control program is no different than how religion, the church, is interwoven into the validation for the military-industrial complex, the prison-industrial complex, the war, the death, and destruction that is running rampant within the so-called powers that be system today. And a large part of the reasons why these so-called powers that be are still afloat is because people are still demonizing that which is natural in order to defend that which is comfortable for them, which is normal, which is the same system that this power grid is using to enslave the masses on a psychological scale, a physical scale, and a spiritual scale. And until we challenge ourselves to go deeper, to realize the balances, to make connections with the elements, the indigenous people, the true stories that have existed, the realities of this mainstream media focus that is of a spiritual perspective. So the mainstream media control grid with Hollywood and the music industry and politics and alternative news and even the new age, that's a mind control program in itself, but in a completely different chapter, but of the same book, mind control program book, that needs to be read, understood, and expanded upon, is the spiritual mind control program, which is this savior mentality and what that does to the people. It inherently takes the power away from the people. It inherently creates a system where now, which is why the state worships the Jesus from the Bible, is because it's a package. It's a package deal. As long as you take ownership of the Son of God, then you can do anything you want. That's exactly what they're doing. And I'm not saying all Christians are coming from that same perspective. What I'm saying is that exists in that storyline, and my question is why? Because it's not just that they are bad guys and they have taken over that. It's not just that perspective. It's also what they are not looking at, what they're simultaneously demonizing. It's no different than when Christopher Columbus came over here with the Bible, Catholicism, and labeled all the indigenous people primitive and savage. They weren't just labeling them primitive and savage. They were labeling their way of life, their way of spirit, their way of connecting with the Most High and the earth plane as a whole. You can't install the globe model unless you have demonized the relationship that the majority of people on this planet have with this earth plane and with spirit. You can't install illusions unless you have destroyed the ancient storylines. It needs to be cleared out. A good example of this is what happened with slaves. They get beat down, whipped, burned, boiled, dragged, lynched, because they didn't profess their love to Jesus and the Bible. And the people who did passed that down to next generations. This was all in the name of this mainstream media of the spiritual perspective. And it's not just to have people focusing their energy in that relationship, but it's to simultaneously separate them from their original connections. And then you have people hundreds of generations down the line which will say, oh, well, they were primitive and savage anyway. They needed that. It's a good thing that they professed their belief and their trust in God, in Jesus. That's how deep this mind control program goes. So like I said, as positive as you might think the Bible and Christianity and Catholicism is, and I'm just using this as a focus because this is what the superpower, the so-called superpower, is using today. Today. These bank holidays, when you have these presidential elections, they're looking to see if you're a Christian. You can't be Donald Trump couldn't be no Muslim. Hillary couldn't have been a Muslim. Barack Obama couldn't have been a Muslim. Obviously, they were challenging that. That's the whole mentality. They need to have the approval of a particular God. Now, as positive as that particular God is, in whatever you want to pull out of the Bible, you have to look at the dark side of what leads up, of where that energy comes from. Otherwise, you're just living in positive cognitive dissonance. Same as the New Age. And it'll eventually, that energy is not going to disappear. In fact, the only reason why things are not changing is because people are living in that bubble of imbalance and lack of recognizing that this shit exists, and waiting and blaming, pointing the finger at everybody else, saying that, oh, well, you're wrong because you're not a Christian man, or you're wrong because you're not a this, and you're wrong because you're not a that, or they're wrong because they're primitive and savage, instead of understanding. Like when people celebrate Thanksgiving, they're mad at people who don't celebrate Thanksgiving. There's a lot of people who call it un-American and all that shit. and the people who don't celebrate Thanksgiving because they realize, they know that it's about genocide and massacres. That's a mind control program. And just like the Bible and the way it was utilized to enslave people, to tax people, to do the most heinous shit back in the day and today, the next version of that, which they are imploding, which is why you have the science community fighting and debating the religious community. It's the next step of mind control. This new age / transhumanism agenda. So back in the day and of today, it's still going on today. You had the atheist program for people who don't believe in anything. And then you have the people who really believe in the system, in this case the Jesus program, from the state perspective, the political perspective. The next version of that is the atheist agenda, which is about technology and transhumanism and all that in the university system as a whole, along with this new age agenda, which is being primed by ancient aliens, the alien agenda, the gay agenda, the we're all one agenda, the love and light agenda, which is just another form of watering everything down like the Bible does. It just waters everything down. Having the savior mentality, it waters everything down and says, this is what it is. You can't say anything about it. It's all this. Shut up. There's nothing else. If there's something else, then you must be evil. You must have demons inside of you. That's a psychological defense mechanism. There's a reason why it makes everything simple. Like the globe model was sold first because it was simple, because you could look up in the sky and see the stars and see the so-called planets and see the movement. It was simple. And then in order to make people believe in that simple program, they just made it complex with the university system and the numbers and the light years and all this the quantum physics, astrophysicists, all this shit. It made it more complex to keep it focused by a particular group, the same way the church does with the Bible. It's so complex. It's really simple because it's just good and evil, but it's complex in that only the pastors and all the people who study the Bible can understand it and truly interpret it. It's the same thing that the university system did with the heliocentric model. It starts out simple, and then over time you'll realize that it's complex, and then you just shut up and let the people who are focused on that life do that for the rest of their lives. Then you just exist in limbo, out of balance, in a mind control program illusion. That's what's happening today with the globe model, and it exists that way because now since you're still simple because you don't understand the complexities, so you just say good and bad, light and dark, good and evil, the bad guy, the good guy. You have these simple, basic, lunchable realities, and just close the gaps in everything and just say, oh well, if they're not good, they must be bad. Is this the good guy? Is this Hillary? Oh, then he must be the bad guy. Is this the bad guy? Oh, he must be the good guy. Mitt Romney? Barack Obama? Oh, he's clearly the good guy. I'm gonna vote for the good guy. It's a commercial, it's a cartoon. This is how you dumb down the entire population. By creating this cartoon version of duality. If you really go into the elements, the spirits, the alchemy of this reality, which is what the hype of the ancient people were tapped into when you understand these hieroglyphics, when you understand the relationship between the people who were building the pyramids and doing all this work and having these interpretations, like all the connections with spirit that the Native Americans have, their relationship to Wakantanka and the Great Spirit, that whole teaching that's not singular to one tribe or anything like that. They largely have the same relationship with nature, the elements and spirit. That's just all thrown out the window when somebody comes in with the Bible and says, hey, this is it. Like, you're primitive. Stop talking about some Wakantanka and all that other nonsense. It's about Jesus. Like, what's going on? It's new. This is new. This is the new form of connecting with spirit. Oh, okay, well, what's new? Oh, well, his name is Jesus Christ and da. Same thing happened with the university system. This is a heliocentric model. This is new. The planet is a sphere, and we're moving 1,000,000 miles a minute. Oh, wow, that sounds interesting. That's very complex. Yeah, we got a lot of people who've been studying this for a long time. They're very, very smart. There's some smart monkeys. Came all the way from dinosaurs to monkeys to Steve Jobs. And don't you have an iPod? Don't you have an iPad? And a MacBook? Well, see? You're a part of it. You're benefiting from this system. So, might as well just keep following along. That's how this program works. And make it real simple. If you make it real simple, then you create the good guy and the bad guy. And it's easy. And then you can go into those complexities to make yourself the good guy. And as you go deeper into those complexities, you're also complicating the bad guy. And you're saying, oh, well, that bad guy must be this bad guy, and that bad guy must be this bad guy, because this is how I interpret this. It's how deep this mind control program. This is what the mainstream media does. They make you believe something. The Bible makes you believe something the way the pastor tells it to you. The way that white supremacist family installs that program from the perspective of the Bible into their next generation of their child. It's the same thing the mainstream media does to have you voting for and defending a Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, the people who don't give one shit about you, Barack Obama, so they can go to war and bomb other people. In a lot of cases, bomb other Christians, bomb other people who believe in the same spirit that you believe in. You don't give a shit because you think you have a Christian president. You think you have a whatever. It's okay because they said God bless America. Whatever it is, it's signed off by the simplification system. Same thing goes, and this all starts at it's about where you start your history. Like the history books of the public education system and largely the political system of today start after Columbus. It's only about Columbus. And even further, they don't want to talk about slavery. So a lot of the mentalities don't even talk about slavery. It's about stealing time, creating foundations of distraction and cognitive dissonance. And the next layer of that cognitive dissonance is this new age alien agenda. And in order for people to believe in it, now they're revamping the connection with ancient indigenous cultures and spirits and saying this is why they have ancient aliens. That's a way to make it real simple and make it like a movie. So they say, oh, I know what aliens are, and I know what the Mayan people were, and I know what the Egyptians were, because I took a world cultures class in history, So I know about this, and I do believe in aliens because I've seen Independence Day, and I do believe in, and you have all of these mind control programs that are feeding themselves through you, the perceiver. And then you just buy into the next program because you have these ancient astronaut theorists that profess and believe and so on and so forth every day, and they sound intellectual and all this other shit. So you'll just believe the next agenda, not knowing that they're selling you another form of separation, another form of mind control, another form of cognitive dissonance. And then you go around calling yourself love and light, and everything is about love and everything is about light, until somebody comes with a fucking baseball bat and you're like, I don't understand this. What's happening? I thought everything was about love and light. It's ridiculous. It's imbalance. Selling agendas. So I would be surprised if the Trump program is setting the platform for that, knowing that he's linked up with Alex Jones conspiracy theories and all that other shit, who's tied in with David Icke and the reptilian perspective and all that other shit. It's all to destroy one program and to sell in a new program. And they'll sell it from the negative energy and the positive energy. And really, when you boil it all down and you reconnect with that which is natural, then this stuff makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense when you reconnect with nature and see the balances of nature and realize that it's not about only good and evil and light and dark. This stuff exists from one perspective, but if you focus your energy only from that perspective, then you are disconnecting yourself from the balances of nature that are more complex than that, which the ancient indigenous people and the Cometians and the Mayans, they all understood. They wrote it in stone. Not saying they were perfect, but they were a hell of a lot more in tune with nature and the harmonics of this reality than we are today. And a hell of a lot more in tune with spirit than this lunchable ass version of mainstream media spirit that is these mainstream religions of today. And yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to share today. So I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.